I'm always like this. Okay. So, why is a marketing person, a business coach, talking about love? Right? You're probably saying, okay, well, what's the point? Why isn't it a relationship coach or something like that? And I'll tell you my story of love and money. Okay, so back when I was married to my starter husband, does anybody have a starter husband? Yeah. Then that is when I started my entrepreneurial journey, and I had a job and 2-income household, right? And but I really had a passion to start my own business. I just didn't know what it was going to be, right? And so I hired a business coach before I left the job. Smart thing to do. And she kind of helped me on my path. It was either a gift basket company or a marketing consultant. Thank God I went to the marketing consultant. No offense to gift basket people, but I would have just spent a lot of money shopping, right? And so I started out, but my husband was very much an employee mindset person, and I'm an entrepreneur mindset. Do you guys get the difference? Employee mindset wants a paycheck every month and is worried when someone, loses a job, and a lot of people go through that where you get laid off or whatnot, and some people really freak out, and some people go, yay, now I can do the thing I want to do, right? And so I'm the yay kind of girl, but he's the, oh crap, what do we do kind of guy. And so 2 years into the business, it wasn't going the way it needed to go. He wasn't as supportive as I would have wanted. The affection and attention kind of dwindled off a little bit. And because I was going to networking events and going and getting inspired by other women, I would travel a little bit, but not a lot because we didn't have a lot of money. And when I would go to him and say, I want to go to this workshop and it's $3,000 and it's in LA or whatever, he'd be like, ooh, but we don't have that. It's like, well, we have a credit card and I can put it on it and then we can pay it off later because I'm going to be making money and la la la. You know how the story went. It didn't really go well. So I ended up leaving. He's a great guy, but I left the marriage, jumped out, bought a new house for myself. Don't know. Most people would just go rent something small just in case, right? No, I'm like a leap taker. I'm like, let me just go buy another house. I'm still paying for the other one that you're living in, but I'm going to buy another house too and paid both mortgages for 6 months, and so don't know how I did it. Like, most people would be like, well, I don't have, they look at their checkbook and go, well, I can't afford that. And I said, well, I'll figure it out, I'll make some money, and it'll be fine. It'll all work itself out in the end, was the motto that I lived by then. But it's funny because I didn't know that was my motto. I didn't know I was leaping in faith. I was just doing things that came naturally or what felt right to do. And it did. It all worked out in the end. Now there was bumps in the road, don't get me wrong. But so that was my journey on really going out and taking charge of my life, right? I was no longer willing to settle for a marriage that was not supportive, for a husband that was not attentive, affectionate, and really loving the way I needed to be loved. And it was hard. And we didn't have kids, mind you, so I know it's a harder decision sometimes when you have kids. But we had a dog and a cat. I got the dog, he got the cat. No, I got the better end of the deal. I was allergic to the cat the whole time anyway. So went through the whole online dating thing, made some really bad mistakes because I just had my laundry list. Well, this is what I want. This is what I had. This is what I really want now. And I would go in with my checklist to dating. Anybody ever do some online dating and you go to your first date and you have the checklist of what you want? It doesn't really work out that way. You got the interview questions, right? I was very business masculine minded in the dating world. It was not a smart move to be. But that was just how I was wired, right? And so I was just about the doing. What do I need to do? I need the checklist. I need to say my affirmations every day about who I want and all that kind of thing. Well, I went through, got my heart broken on my 40th birthday. He broke up with me, this guy I was dating for 2 years, right? And that was a $50,000 mistake because I invested in a house with him and all this stuff. Yeah, it was ugly. So I went into like a 4-month long kind of a depression at that point. Had my dog still, thankfully. I lived with my girlfriend in her 2 spare bedrooms. She had a big house and 2 spare bedrooms, luckily, because my current house that I had went and bought, I was renting. Thankfully, I rented it and I didn't sell it when I bought the new house with the new guy, right? Woo! Because I only had to wait 4 months to move back into it because I had renters. But in that 4 months, I changed so many things about myself and the way that I was being. I said, you know what, I'm not going to settle. I'm going to take charge. I'm going to think maybe there's something that I need to change in order to find the right guy. So I went through some relationship courses. I spent in fact $6,000 on 3 different relationship courses. I thought there's got to be something that I need to change, because we never think it's us, it's them, right? I finally smartened up and did that, and then I also hired a matchmaker. So the year that I really wanted to find a man, it was 2012, it was January, and this was the year I was going to find a man, the next man, the perfect man, the final man, right? The keeper husband. And started going to those relationship courses, and I hired a matchmaking service for $6,000. Don't recommend it. But it was good. And then I was on 4 different dating sites, 2 paid and 2 free. I don't know, like craziness, right? And so it was like a full-time job. So all along, I had my business, right? I've had my business since 2002. And at that time, so 2012, I had pretty much a smooth-running, money-making business. So luckily, I have systems, I have a team, I have money coming in, I have clients, so that's good. And that's what I love to teach people to do, because it allowed me about 20 to 30% of my time to focus on the love life. A lot of people, we don't allow ourselves to do that. If you're single, if you know single women, or if you know people that are unhappy in their marriage, or even that need to just have more date nights, we don't always allow ourselves that time and that pleasure. Well, I gotta build a business, I gotta make money. And they don't spend the time on the personal stuff that they need to fulfill their love. I had a hole in my heart, is what I used to say at my 30-second commercial. I'd be like, I have a hole in my heart. Anybody know a man? That's like, you know. And when I finally met the guy, it took 6 months, you guys, but I was all in, right? So I had built this amazing business. I applied those same strategies to my love life. I built systems for the online dating so that I could manage more leads, okay, and I could sort better through the prospects, frankly, and I could keep them organized in my phone by, you know, prioritizing and categorizing like you would with your clients or your leads in your email system with the list and all that. I did this on my dating life, and in 6 months I found the man that I'm now married to, who's amazing, and I just was able to make enough money now to let him quit his job last year, and so he can do his passion, and he no longer has to settle for jobs he hates, because he's been through cancer, and you know, he was in mortgage when he went through cancer, and he hated mortgage, and he just didn't see what else was possible. And cancer was kind of a blessing and a horrible thing at the same time, but as a blessing because he was able to say to himself, I don't like that anymore. I don't like mortgage, and I don't want to do mortgage, and life is too short, and I want to do something else. And so it almost makes me cry, because it's really hard for a guy to make those kinds of decisions. They usually stick in their job way too long because they feel like they have to provide and pay for the family, right? And sometimes if we're the breadwinner, we feel like that too sometimes, or we think, okay, retirement's like 2 or 5 years out. I can hang out in this job that I freaking sucks and I hate for the 2 to 5 years to get that retirement, when, you know what, 2 to 5 years like you were saying with your body, that stuff can fester and create illnesses. And I don't believe anybody should settle with a marriage that is not the 100% what you deserve, or a job that you can't stand or even don't like a little bit, right? Life is way too short. And so I love when I can inspire someone. Like Rosa and I were talking, like, oh my God, Rosa, we can get you a new business. Let's go, right? Like, she's like, I want to leave my job and get a new business. Now, don't get me wrong, she's probably amazing. And it's funny because I used to be in the retirement industry and do sales and marketing for a retirement community. So, yeah, I hate it when people are settling. So my first real thought for you today is just think about your life and what could you be tolerating right now? Is there something that you're tolerating? It could be a relationship. It could be it could be a sister. It could be a person. It could be somebody else in your life, right? And not that we don't love them or they don't love us, but how do you have to manage that relationship a little bit better to get what you want out of it or not out of it, right? Like sometimes we just need more distance from the person because there's no change in their mind, or even talking to them about sharing our feelings and our thoughts about how they're treating or what they're saying to us or what they're not doing, you know what I mean? And so I see it more often than not that there was usually most of the people I talk to, women especially, will have at least one or two toxic people in their lives that are too close, right? And it infests our entrepreneurial energy, or if you're in a career, it doesn't matter if you're in a career or have your own business, it infests our energy and our motivation and our beliefs, and as well as our confidence in ourselves, especially if you're having someone that naysays, you know, what you're doing, or why don't you just go back and get a job, doesn't seem to be working for you, right? Those little jabs, even though they say 100% I support you, honey, but maybe you should go get a job. That is not supportive, even though it sounds like it, right? So whether it's you or somebody else you might know, I would encourage them or you to help get them out of that scenario, or at least give them encouragement that there are more. What else is possible? What else is possible? What if you live until you're 95? How many years is that for you guys? How many years? Could be 100. I'm moving my mom into a retirement home from Vegas to Sacramento in the next probably 60 days. And the gal there says she has like 10 residents over 100. So we could literally live until we're 100. Number one, you gotta look at your finances, right? And make sure you can afford it. Number two, though, if you are in a not so supportive relationship, and you're 40, that's 60 years. Are you gonna settle for the next 60 years with that? No. So one of the things I'm really good with the words, yes, for your business and your marketing and what to say in an email or on a web page or with a networking spiel or in a sales conversation. I'm really good with the words with that, but I'm really also good with the words to help navigate some people in your life or situations in your life, and I've helped a lot of people through getting a divorce. The first time I ever held my Love and Money event, which was back in 2009, 4 ladies came that were unhappy in their personal relationship that told me specifically, I am unhappy and that's why I'm here, because you said we were going to talk about love and money. And all 4 of them went home and gave their husbands an ultimatum. All 4. Which was kind of freaky. That wasn't my goal. Okay, that's not my goal. Come to my event and you're going to go home and get divorced. That's not the goal. But hey, they were empowered enough to go at least have that conversation. 3 of them actually did end up getting a divorce, and 1 stayed eventually, right? So, but if you know it's not right, it's not right. So the reason I talk about that is because if you're not happy in your love life, or in your relationship, or even if your relationship with yourself, right? We're not happy with the weight we are, or the clothes, or the financial situation, or whatever it is, then you're gonna be less motivated and determined and hungry in your business to build what you need to build, to make the impact you need to make, as well as the money you're gonna make, right? Sometimes we undercharge for our services. A lot of times we undercharge. I don't think there's anybody I've ever talked to for the very first call I've ever had, whether it was a free call just to talk to them, or a paid coaching call like they signed up. The very first time, the first thing I ask is, what are you selling and how much are you? That's the first thing, because I can't show you how to market and find clients and build your systems and your website and all that stuff unless we're very clear on what you're selling. And 100% of the time, people are undercharging, in my opinion. They could charge more. 100% of the time. So it could be that your thought today from here is maybe I should raise my rates. And I get if you're farmers, you have set percentages and all that, but you know what? You could also write a book. You know what? You can get paid to speak. There's all kinds of ways to make money, other additional streams of income, even in those types of industries. And so we're thinking too small if we're settling and we're saying, oh, our industry standards, or oh, you know, we have policies, or oh, it has to be like this, or just because 99% of the people in your industry are like one way doesn't mean there's not a way to do something different for you. So I don't even know how much time I have to talk.
8 more minutes.
8 more?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So the message is like, don't settle, right? And then what else is possible for you? I'd love to open it up and really have some discussion, because I don't want to just hear and blab on you. So is there anything that anybody's tolerating right now, like that we have to navigate? This is a safe space, right? You guys are all, is there anybody that's brand new today for the first time besides me? No, you all have met each other. So, good. So, I mean, this is a safe space.
I want to join too.
Yes, what?
Well, I share when I see what you do. I've been working with the seniors for 21 years in the same community. I started as a dishwasher. I have done caregiving, cooking, cleaning, housekeeping, medication. I actually went to school for a medical, I was going to be a nurse. So I ended up just as a medical assistant because I find out that I cannot see people dying and I'm scared to injections. So at that point I said I would not be a good nurse. However, doing the community relation for the last 7 months in the community that I've been for 21 years opened my eyes really big to the connection that we have and the difference that we can make in the senior industry when they're looking for care. They're desperate looking for a good community that will provide excellent care for their loved ones. And the sacrifices they make are very big because financially it's very expensive. So they overpass the price if you're willing to deliver that care that they're desperately looking for. So I noticed I work in a great community, but I see around myself and I hear from family members how unhappy they are in communities and experience in my own community as well. Nobody's perfect, right? So I see that there is a lot of room to go to the next level, and it will be so simple in my eyes to have a community that is running with high standards. But it's simple to see, but it's very hard to accomplish and deliver. So with that being said, I want to be able to say, you know what, I'm tired of the politician and not being empowered to take high decisions. How can I change the community? How can I help?
That's a big mission, isn't it? Like,
how can I help family members? How can I educate people with the 21 years of experience that I have in the industry to know that that's important thing to do? And it's so many money makers, companies. We have corporations. They're business. They're not non-for-profit. But I believe that those companies have to really invest in their staffing. And I'm talking about line staff, learn to appreciate the people that are hands-on and living in the care.
I'm going to stop you for a second. So this sounds like a huge mission.
Yes.
So we're talking about you right now,
well,
not your mission.
My mission
so
is...
how are we going to get you to accomplish this mission, though, right?
Well, you have to be prepared because you cannot jump in. When you're ready and you put a perfect example that you were ready to jump in and things work out for you. That's not everybody's state of mind. So you have to know what you have and your surroundings and what you're capable of doing and get prepared. So I'm afraid, yes.
I argue with that a little bit because there's a lot of people that will get prepared, and will never leave or even take a little baby step. So yes, there is some preparation, but the leap, I'm telling you, for where you're at, easy. It's not a leap for where you're at because she has so much experience, right? Number one, she could be a geriatric care manager right now. She could do care plans. She could help people find housing. She could work for comfort keepers. She could do all kinds of different things on her own. Right? So, but and you could even go be an activist. You could do something in the politics, and if you really want to make a mission, it's not just staying small in the company that you're with or even in a consulting agency. It could be being a speaker and going out and doing bigger things. So it's the world is your oyster, really. But there's a lot of education. The biggest problem with your industry is that nobody wants to know unless there's a crisis. We don't want to know. I mean, I have my mom, thankfully her mom was smart enough to go into an independent living and check herself in and sell her big house before she needed it, right? And my mom's the same way, thank God, but my dad was not. He died, he was dead in his house alone for 5 days before I knew he was dead, my dad. because he was so adamant about not telling anybody, involving anybody, and it was an 18-year-old will. So I had a $23,000 probate, okay, because my dad. So I get through industry, and you have a steep education curve with people that don't want to pay attention. So what you have to your advantage is the internet and a whole bunch of online ways to really empower a lot of people. And it's about your own confidence, though. When it comes down to this, because you have the expertise, we all agree, okay? We all agree you know your stuff. It's a matter of quickly formatting what are you selling, and then going into the right people and making it happen. And making sure you're not just educating, but you're also enrolling people in services, because you can't just go out there and talk for free and educate for free, because then you're eating top ramen and maybe going to be homeless, right?
Thank you. We'll talk more at the end, but one of the things is that I don't hate my job. I love my job.
I didn't.
And that's the hard part, you know.
Yeah.
Making a difference, and I have been given an opportunity where I strive every day, even if I get in trouble. Come on, guys, we gotta raise the standards. We gotta deliver. So
that's awesome.
I'm
It's not easy to do.
Yes,
and you're lucky. Not everybody. Give her a hand, you guys.
Thank you.
Not everybody loves their job. Like my husband didn't love his job, and so it is hard to self-motivate, right? Anybody ever have that self-motivation problem in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah. Especially when you have a 1.5-year-old, you co-sleep.
Yeah. Right. For me, it's like, oh, the house is too cold. I don't want to get out yet. Like, honey, you get up and you turn the heater on, and I'll get up in 20 when it's warm.
Right. Yeah.
Well, good. Well, as far as the love and money, so the funny thing, and is what, 2 minutes, something like that? Okay. Back in 2008, before I did any of my live events, I went to I've hired mentors all along to help me, and business coaches and stuff, and I went to one specifically that said, help me make 6 figures. I'm like, I want to make 6 figures this year. What are you going to tell me to do to make 6 figures, right? I just need to know what to do. I need to change my website. Do I need to change what I'm selling? Do I need to go somewhere else? Do I need to speak more? What do I need to do? It was a year-long program for $25,000, and I was in a mastermind, and I would sit with other entrepreneurs, my friends, and every single one of them, every single time I got in the hot seat like this, we were in the front of the room, and hey, come on, tell me what to do. They'd be like, just be, Katrina. I'm like, can you expand on that? Like, I don't understand. I'm like, just be. And then just be love. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't get it. This was before I realized that I was to talk about love and money. All year long I cried, because I'm like, just tell me what to do. And they're like, no, you just need to be. So I would go to events, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to be. So I would just be open, be available to talk to whoever came to me, be giving with ideas and grateful, and I would just be. And lo and behold, at the end of that year, I didn't really do anything different, but I made it $100,000 that year, and that was the year that I found who I thought was going to be the love of my life. That was before the breakup. So I got love and money at the end of this year is how I explain it, and that started my whole journey with Love and Money Live and the Love Yourself Successful book, and talking about getting more love in your life and money in your business, and it just snowballed, and I've been talking about it ever since, and primarily people come to me for the business stuff, but I'm telling you, 60% of the women that I work with, and a lot of you work with women, there's something going on in that love side of the life, right? It's either love for yourself, love for what you're doing, or lack of, love with a significant other, or love in your environment, which could just be other people, or it could be that you've got this chip on your shoulder and you go driving around and you're cussing people out, right? It's just love in general. You're laughing.
Sorry, that was me on my way over here. I was like,
Right.
So those are the 4 types of love that I talk about in the book and all that. And so I hope this was helpful. I'm happy to chat after about any of it. I'm not in a hurry to get home, so yeah.
And you have thank you, Katrina. First of all,
Yay.
thank you. I love your transparency. Speaking for myself, I